What is going on, Gridiron fans? I am the Gridiron Guy, and this is my mock draft madness. Now, before we get into this is not my draft order. This is the Mock Draft Network, or the Draft Network. This is their mock draft machine. It spits out based on how the season is going. It changes every week. This is what they think will happen by the end of the season. So, don't beat me up over the order. It's not my order. Just using what they already have set up. They are my picks, so go crazy on the picks. If you like them, if you hate them, let me know. Okay, so if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Smash that like button if you enjoy these videos so you can see more in the future. Also, click that little notification button so you can see future mock draft videos. I upload mock draft videos every Saturday, and I upload weekly matchups for the NFL every Wednesday or Thursday. So, with that being said, let's get started. Now, I'm going to get a little crazy with this mock draft because I feel like let's spice things up. Let's shake it up. Let's see what happens. And, I'm going to start with this number one pick here. The Jets, let's just get crazy. This isn't actually crazy, but let's say the Jets fire Adam Gase. Not out of the realm of possibilities. He's pretty much destroyed Sam Darnold's career. Maybe not his career, but he definitely hasn't helped it. Sam Darnold could always go somewhere else in this next offseason. The Saints, the Steelers. One of these teams that has an older, aging quarterback who could be looking for a guy for the future. And resurrect his career. Could happen. So, Jets, quarterback, yes, I agree, 100%. But there's a lot of quarterbacks here in this draft, especially at the top. There's at least 3 that are going to be at the top of this draft. So, here's what I think. The Jaguars are a second pick. The Jaguars are saying to themselves, we got a little bit of draft capital, and I don't know if we're ever going to see a guy like Trevor Lawrence again. Why don't we take both of our first-round picks and trade them to the Jets and see if we can get that number 1 pick so we can get Trevor Lawrence? So they call up the Jets. Jets say, well, you know what? We're not 100% want to take Trevor Lawrence. Maybe we want another quarterback as well. So maybe we're happy with moving back 1 spot and picking up another first-round draft pick. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to trade between the Jets and the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to give up the 2nd overall pick and the 22nd overall pick, as well as a 4th rounder for the number 1 pick in the draft. And I think that's pretty fair. There we go. So, the Jaguars have accepted. The Jets have accepted. So, the Jets are now picking 2nd, but they have picked up the 22nd overall pick. So now the Jets have 3 first-round picks, and the Jaguars have 1. But that's all that matters. They get Trevor Lawrence at number 1. I thought that would be a cool move. The Jaguars also need a quarterback. You feel like they're a quarterback away, at least a really good quarterback away from doing something in that division. And the rest of this draft, they can just worry about helping out that defense and that offensive line. You know, building for the future. I feel like their offensive line is not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. You know, and they do have some things going on there on that offense. So, moving forward, I think great move for the Jaguars. Give up that extra first round pick and move up and get Trevor Lawrence. Okay, so now, Jets on the clock. They're not taking Trevor Lawrence, obviously. But they need a guy who can take an entire franchise and put it on his shoulders. And I think that guy is Trey Lance. Quarterback of the future, face of the franchise for the future. There's no way this happens if Trevor Lawrence is on the board. So, but they get an extra first round pick because the Jets need a lot of help on this team. They need an infusion of youth. They have tons of youth. They just don't have the right players at the right positions right now. They could use a wide receiver. They could use a running back. They could use offensive line. Maybe a piece or two on defense. But altogether, they just need draft capital. So for them to move down one spot and pick up 2 picks, especially one in the first round, it's almost a no-brainer. I would do it. And you still get one of these premier quarterbacks. Okay, so Cowboys on the clock. Cowboys really need help in their secondary badly. I think Patrick Surtain, the second, I think it's going to be between him and Caleb Farley. Who's going to go number 1 at corner? Who's going to be the number 1 corner off the board? And I'm starting to lean more towards Patrick Surtain because he's already got that NFL pedigree. You know, his father played for like 12 years or something. He played, had a great career. So I think he's already got that help, from his father to explain to him how the NFL works, and I'm sure he's already ready for that. Plus, he's playing in Alabama, which is basically this, the little brother of the NFL. I mean, if you can play at Alabama and excel at a high level, you're going to translate to the NFL pretty well, especially for defensive players and running backs coming out of Alabama and wide receivers. Quarterbacks hasn't been the greatest. Tua's kind of changing that a little bit, sort of. He's only had 1 game, but I'm rambling a little bit. All right, the Giants on the clock. There are a couple things I would do here. Gregory Rousseau's on the board. Jamar Chase is on the board. I feel like those are 2 big needs for the Giants. I think if the Giants go edge rusher, get a little more pressure on some of the teams in that division, especially since getting after the quarterback could really set the Giants apart, could really help. You got Carson Wentz, you have Dak Prescott, whoever's playing for football team next year. I feel like their linebackers are good enough. Their corners, they could always pick up somebody in free agency. Offensive line is getting better. It's a lot better than it was last year, or way even better than the year before. I think one of their biggest issues is protecting the football and a lack of offensive weapons that can stay healthy. Saquon has been banged up. He was banged up last year. Got hurt for the season this year. Ultimately, the best ability is availability. So, there's a guy in this draft whom I think can take care of the ball really well. Now, that's obviously Trey Lance. He hasn't had a turnover in his college career. He only has like 14 games of a sample size, so it's really not a great. That's just 1 season and a couple playoff games. So, but there is a guy here whom I think can be the guy, and that's Zach Wilson. I think if Zach Wilson went to the Giants, he takes care of the football, he controls the game, he makes the right reads, and he is damn accurate. Oh my gosh, he destroyed BYU this past week. Or sorry, he destroyed Boise State this past week. So I feel like, I know it might be a little bit early to hit the reset button on Daniel Jones, but I feel like Zach Wilson could be the guy for the Giants. This guy's already used to doing it with not much to throw to. He's very creative. And when your guys are open, he can hit them. I just feel like this is. I know it's not a need, but if you're picking fourth and Zach Wilson's sitting there, most likely he's going to be, I feel like you can't pass him up. Daniel Jones just slides to number 2, or you trade him to one of these other teams who can work on him for a couple of years. I am super high on Zach Wilson. I feel like Zach Wilson's going to find himself in the top 10, top 5, top 10 for sure, but top 5 by the time this draft comes. I think his stock's just going to keep on rising. So that leaves football team. Football team's got a lot of options here, actually. So if football team actually wanted to go quarterback, Justin Fields sitting here. Also, Penei Sewell sitting here. Also, Jamar Chase is sitting here. So what is their biggest priority? It's not exactly quarterback. It is, but it isn't. They have 3 quarterbacks on their roster who have all started this year. So I just think it's apparent that Dwayne Haskins is not the guy. Kyle Allen's been getting hurt, and Alex Smith was out for like 19 months. So if he's going to be the guy, he's not going to be the guy for long. So I say they go Justin Fields. Okay, so that opens up the Chargers to take Penei Sewell then. They're having a little bit of trouble protecting Herbert down there. I think Herbert's a great quarterback. I think he was a great, excellent pick for the Chargers. And I'm a Raider fan, and I'm saying that. So I think he's paying dividends already. Okay. Now the Dolphins on the clock. The Dolphins, everything's here available for them. They want an edge rusher. He's here. Linebacker is here. Micah Parsons. Jamar Chase. Ultimately, I think Jamar Chase is the pick here. Get to a big time weapon. And Jamar Chase, I don't care if he sits out all season. I don't care. I feel like Jamar Chase is the number 1 wide receiver no matter what. I don't think anybody could do anything to surpass him. He would have been number 1 probably last year with those big 3. He probably would have been number 1 last year. So I think him sitting out only helped his stock, because NFL teams know that he will not get hurt this year. He will not be banged up, and he will be NFL ready. So I think it's only helping his stock, because he was already the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. I think he goes either way. There's nobody going ahead of him at wide receiver. Okay. The Bengals have actually been doing a decent job at protecting Joe Burrow. But you could always get more. I feel like if they went with Creed Humphrey, they can't go wrong. And this guy is a plug-and-play guy. He is primarily a center, but he'll be able to play guard if you need him to. easily plug-and-play player. He will play somewhere on that offensive line next year. And you help out Joe Burrow. You get him a little bit more protection in the front because he's also proved that he can make the throws he needs to. He's commanding that offense. 2 weeks ago, now they beat the Titans. Joe Burrow's doing some good things. If you just get him a little bit more protection, that wide receiving core is pretty damn good. From top to bottom, he's got a lot to work with. He's got 2 pretty good running backs. Just get him some more protection up front. Get him some primetime guys up front. And that offense is going to be well on its way. That defense is getting a little older, so I say you work on offensive line now. Throughout the rest of this draft, get some guys that are going to start for you. Corners, linebackers. Well, actually, they did pretty good with linebackers last year. So maybe edge rusher, cornerback, safety. Other guys who are going to help out that defense going forward. Panthers. I feel like, yes, Teddy Bridgewater was only a Band-Aid, sort of. But I feel like Teddy Bridgewater has played so well this year. I think he's keeping his spot. He's a veteran quarterback. He's, 26, 27 years old? This guy's got 10 years left. As long as he doesn't hurt those knees again. Micah Parsons is your Luke Kuechly replacement. This guy can do it all. He can cover. He can stop the run. He's always in the right position on screen plays, on running plays. He's good at block shedding. So it's Micah Parsons is your do-it-all middle linebacker. I said this last week, saying it again. You don't want Tahir Whitehead as your long-term option. He can't cover. He's good against the run, but as good as he is against the run, he's way worse against the pass. He's not a complete linebacker. He's definitely not a middle linebacker. So, the Falcons. I feel like the Falcons don't have too many options here for quarterback. So I think they're going to take Gregory Rousseau. With Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Trevor Lawrence all off the board, it's slim pickings for quarterbacks. So they might just want to grab one in the second round, or maybe even trade up later on, jump back into pick 26 or 27, 30, and grab a quarterback just so they can have the 5th-year option. But I think with Gregory Rousseau sitting here, they can't pass him up. They also need to be able to get after the opposing quarterback. All right, the Lions on the clock. Lions on the clock. I think the Lions. I know he got hurt, but I still feel like, Kenny Galladay might be on his way out. Marvin Jones is aging, so I feel like get Matthew Stafford another weapon to come in here and maybe be that number 1 guy. Jalen Waddle is an absolute number 2, possibly a number 1. But even if they hold on to Galladay, Jalen Waddle will be a perfect complement. All right, Vikings. Viking fans are probably going to be pissed over this, but it's not really any quarterbacks left, man. Not really. There's 2 quarterbacks. And I feel like neither one of them should go number 12. So, whomever your quarterback is, you got to protect him better. You go with Wyatt Davis. This guy's a dog. This guy is a trench monster. And, you have a great running game there. So, adding a big hog molly will only help out your offense even more. This pick, it may not change very much for me. Kyle Pitts. This guy is just. I think Belichick's just going to be in love with him. Just in love with him. He's just another weapon that he can use at tight end. He's going to be salivating. They might even do something crazy and trade up for this guy. Who knows? If the Patriots end up down here around the 20s, they may trade up for this guy just to make sure he gets him. Who knows? But he is definitely he's gonna love this guy. All right, Broncos. I think it's Caleb Farley. Let's get some of these corners off the board. It's gonna be perfect. Some of these corners right here. Same thing here. I would say Sean Wade. You know what? Sean Wade. Let's see what we got down here. You know what? We're talking 15, top 15 pick. Trey Smith is right here. Trey Smith to the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like a lot. I watched that offensive line just get decimated by the Packers this past week, and they were just getting destroyed up front. Now, I understand that it was not their starters, and there were some pieces that guys were playing positions they shouldn't have been, but and they also didn't have. They also were on. They had COVID watch this past week, and it wasn't good for them. But I think if they get a young guy at offensive line in general, it's going to be good for them. Now, the Bears can go one of two ways. I think they need offensive line in general. They need some guys on that. And there are some decent tackles here. They might need some juice. Could use some juice. Opposite Khalil Mack. It's a little early for that. Got some more tackles here. But I think the perfect Bears thing to do would be to take Kyle Trask right here. They need a quarterback. Kyle Trask is climbing boards. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near the top 10. He's probably right now. He's probably going to be just outside the top 20. But I think the Bears, instead of the Bears trading back and running the risk of the Colts taking him or the Eagles or another team trading up and taking him, they just take him right now. Instead of dropping back a few spots, then it gets risky. All right, so Browns on the clock. I know who I'm in. The Browns are going to take Aiden Hutchinson. Or you know what? I'm going to give them Devontae Smith. I don't know what the future is of Odell Beckham. They might even trade him this offseason. Who knows? But I do think they're going to need one more guy there. I don't think one of those big wide receivers is going to be gone this year, and I think it's going to be Odell Beckham before it would be Jarvis Landry. But you bring in a guy, a speedster, guy who can do it all, catch passes, high point the ball. Devontae Smith is thin, stature wise, but pretty well-rounded wide receiver. Colts are moving up the board too much as far as the playoff picture comes. So I don't feel like they're gonna be in the position to get a quarterback at 18. So maybe they might want to think, hey, if we're too deep, maybe we want to grab a quarterback in the offseason. Maybe trade for Sam Darnold. You know, if the Jets know what they're doing with that number 1 pick and they're taking Trevor Lawrence, maybe they trade away Sam Darnold. You never know. So, Samuel Cosme to the Colts. All right. Eagles on the clock. You know, Dylan Moses is right here. Feel like they could go offensive line as well. You know, but you got Paris Ford down here. This guy is climbing boards too. Paris Ford, I think he's going to be the first safety in the first round. Paris Ford, and he plays at Pittsburgh. You know, travel a little bit west to Philadelphia. He's a Pennsylvania guy already. He's already there. Bring him in. Might suck some of those Pittsburgh fans over to, I doubt it, over to Philly, but it's not really going to happen. All right. I think the Cardinals need a corner either way. Shaun Wade is looking like he's probably going to be a little more of a nickel man. But if they get some help at corner in general, that's going to be great for them. All right. Well, there's the Dolphins on the clock again. And Dylan Moses is sitting right here. And their highest need is linebacker. I do feel like offensive line help would also be good, but I'm not in love with any of the guys right here. But Dylan Moses right here. Bring in some more Alabama guys. Bring them in. So, you know, way down here, they got Jamar Chase to help out on offense. They get Dylan Moses to help out on defense. This team could take a bigger leap next year. I think they took a huge leap this year already, just doing what they've done. All right, so the Jets are on the clock. The Jets are on the clock. I mean, Rashad Bateman's not a bad pick. Travis Etienne, Pat Freiermuth. I mean, it's looking perfect here. What do you want, Jets? You want a wide receiver? You want a running back? You want a tight end? What do you want? Is Najee Harris is here? Do they need an edge guy? You got Aiden Hutchinson here. You want to protect him? You got Dylan Redunes. I mean, what do you want? You got Terrence Marshall here. That's actually a really... Terrence Marshall is going to find himself as a first-round pick when it's all said and done. You looking Alex Leatherwood's here. Josh Myers is... This pick is paying dividends for the Jets already. Like, they very well may be able to walk away with Rashad Bateman and, you know, Trey Lance. Now you have some playmakers on that offense. Let's go, Jets. All right. So, now the Raiders are on the clock. Offensive line, interior offensive line is actually pretty important. Dylan Redunes, offensive tackle, maybe an option. You never know what's going on with Trent Brown. The Trent Brown saga continues. I like Aiden Hutchinson here as an edge rusher. He's more of a... He is a 4-3 guy, but he is a very good run stuffer. He can get after the quarterback a bit. He's got some bend to him. But I think Quincy Roche, I think what the Raiders are really looking for is a speed rusher, a speed edge guy. And that's Quincy Roche. Quincy Roche, a little undersized, but this guy's got juice. He's got some juice. Now, Aiden Hutchinson is the build that the Raiders are looking for, but I feel like they already have too many guys that are like Aiden Hutchinson. Guys who are good at stopping the run. That's Cleveland Farrell already. That's you know, but they want another guy like Arden Key who's got some bend to him. Max Crosby's great at just getting after the quarterback in general. He's just got a high motor. Quincy Roche will be that extra guy with the juice, with the speed off the edge to create more pressure and help out the rest of them getting to that quarterback. Quincy Roche is probably the best pick. Okay. Well, just like I said, Aiden Hutchinson would be a great pick for the Titans. He really would. All right, the Buccaneers, I think they take Jay Tufele, defensive line. They're probably not going to have Ndamukong Suh after this year. They will have Vita Vea, so plug in another defensive lineman. Why don't you get him in the first round? Help out that defense, be able to stop the run a little better. Things are looking up there. Ha! Jets on the clock again. Now, Jets on the clock again. Wow. All right, so do we want to turn this team around immediately, or do we just want to be able to win 6 games? If you want to win 6 games, I say you go Travis Etienne. Now you have weapons at every level on offense, but you never know. Maybe taking a running back this high. A lot of these next teams, they don't need a running back. The Ravens don't. They have 2 or 3. The Bills don't. They have 2. The Packers have 3. The Chiefs have 2. Saints have 2. And the Steelers have 2. So Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, you might be okay. You may not have to take one of them. But all of those teams would take a guy like Terrence Marshall on you. Especially the Ravens. The Ravens need some wide receiver juice. I say take Terrence Marshall just ahead of the Ravens. Keep him away from an AFC foe. And now you just got Trey Lance. You got Terrence Marshall and Rashad Bateman. Wow. The Jets have literally just turned it around in one draft. In one round of draft. I'm excited. This worked out great for the Jets. All right. So, going on down the line. I think Dylan Raduns goes here to the Ravens because they've been a little shaky on that offensive line this year. They haven't been protecting Lamar Jackson like they have in the past. That running game is not as potent as it was. They're just loading the box and just saying, all right, Ravens beat us by passing the ball. And although the Ravens are having a good year record-wise, a lot of their games are dogfights, and they're just squeaking them out. Last year, they were blowing people out. All right, so I think Eric Stokes is the pick here for the Buffalo Bills. I think they go corner. Now we got the Packers on the clock. I think the Packers go Rondale Moore. They've been needing that wide receiver for years in the first round. I think they finally see that. They addressed some things last year. They got some future guys. They got a good hammer at running back last year. They got Jordan Love, their quarterback one of the future. I think now you owe it to Aaron Rodgers to get that wide receiver one in the first round that he's been asking for. Yeah, there are some other needs, but no, get him a damn wide receiver. You got the whole rest of the draft. to get defensive depth, and there's also free agency. The draft always happens after free agency. So, all right, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, another team just like the Ravens. They haven't actually been super potent like they were last year. They're not destroying people. They're just squeaking these games out. Just this past week, they squeaked one out against the Panthers, and honestly, they were losing that game in the third and fourth quarters, so they very well could have lost. So, one thing I think they're struggling with is protecting Pat Mahomes. He's kind of running for his life. So Josh Myers the pick here at number 30. All right, Saints. Saints coming off their victory blowout win against the Buccaneers. Blew them out. Was it 38-3? Blew them out. So, what are they going to do? I think the Saints, they're picking here at 31. This is a great spot to take your quarterback of the future, Mac Jones. Boom. Lock it in. Perfect spot. And then you don't allow the Steelers to go ahead and do that either. So the Steelers go safe, and they stick with what they do best, and that is building their defense and their offensive line. And yeah, they get weapons, but they find those in other rounds. I think they take a guy like Alex Leatherwood, sitting right here. All right. So, did you enjoy my mock draft? If you did not, put it in the comments section below. I want to know what you think. Did you enjoy the picks? Did you enjoy what I did with the Jets? I certainly enjoyed it. They loaded up. So, if you haven't already, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button because it really does help me out. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here so we can start getting monetized on this video. Once I get monetized, I'm going to start doing Madden on here. But right now, I'm just trying to build the base ground so we can grow this channel. So, please click that subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. And I will see you next time. I am the Gridiron Guy, and I am out.